Good evening, witches. Merry meet. It's Graybeard Crowfather here again for you tonight for another one of our Intro to Wicca series videos. I'm going to start off first and foremost with a feeling that I'm sure everybody has had, and that's one big one of relief. Yes, the candidate that I wanted to win won the election, and that means that there will not be any threat to my beliefs and your beliefs or anybody that practices Wicca or witchcraft or druidry or any non-Abrahamic religion. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but I really truly did believe that there was a potential threat for us down the road. Now I'm not worried. So, that being said, tonight what I'm going to get into is something that is not really a Wiccan, practice. It's associated with witchcraft and is used in Wicca and witchcraft a lot, but it's not a actual, core of Wicca or witchcraft. And that is divination. And divination, by definition, is the practice of seeking knowledge of the future or of the unknown using supernatural methods. Now, that's the dictionary version of it, and to me, I consider divination being the process of gleaning knowledge through the use of tools. And what I'm going to go over are some of those tools that everybody tends to use or, gets into when it comes to divination. I only do one of the types of divination. I am by no means proficient at it, and I still am learning. I never got into it until recently, and I really don't have the time to dedicate to it with everything that I'm doing as far as in my life, but I still tend to bring it out when we have our circles and Sabbaths, because people ask me all the time, hey, can you do those? I'm like, sure, why not? So yes, I pull them out and I read the cheat sheet. So, okay, first one and the most common tool that is used for divination is the tarot. Tarot cards. I have the old standard Rider-Waite tarot. Tarot cards are made up of 78 cards. 56 of the cards are the minor arcana, and the minor arcana are made up of swords, wands or staves, cups, and whoops, did I not have a pentacles in here? I don't think I did. There we go. Sorry about that. My mistake. There we go. Pentacles are sometimes called coins. Those are all similar to like a standard deck of cards. They go from 1 through 12. The other cards that make up a tarot deck are the major arcana, and I've got 3 examples of them here for you. They're all unique. This one would be the Hermit. Speaking of the Hermit, if you're familiar with the old Led Zeppelin 4 album, I know, showing my age. The Hanged Man, the Lovers, and there are 19, 20, yeah, 19, geez, my math is off tonight. 19 other of the major arcana. People learn how to use the cards, and when you're using them for divination for whether it's your self or for others, you put the cards out in what's called a spread, and there's different types of spreads. The most commonly used spread has 3 cards, and then I think it's 1, and then 4. I don't remember. I don't use tarot at all, so I'm a little bit, I can't remember exactly on how that spread goes. I know some people actually will do like a 3-card spread for past, present, and future. I'm not going to get into how to read tarot cards or any of the tools that I'm going to be showing you tonight. That's all personal choice, up to you. So if something interests you, find one, find a couple, practice with them. I would say find one at first and then, become proficient with it and then move on to the next one. Next is rune stones, and these are the ones that I actually bring out when we're having our Sabbats. People always ask, hey, can you read our runes? So rune stones are little stones with inscribed symbols on them. Oh, there we go. And generally what most people do with the rune stones is they'll actually take a handful of them and they'll throw them as throwing stones. And then from there you have your guide that tells you what the meaning of the symbol is on the stone. Some people, like myself, I just prefer to actually have people, I shake them up and then have them reach in and draw one out. The reason being, for me anyways, is that these runes are all inscribed on rose quartz, and I don't want to throw my stones and have, chips or breaks in them. So that's rune stones. Another common method of divination, and I'm sure everybody's seen this at some point in time or another, if you happen to be a kid growing up and watching cartoons, Bugs Bunny or whatever the case may be, Animaniacs, is crystal ball. A lot of times you can actually do divination by staring into or looking into or concentrating on a crystal ball. The other option that you can use is a black scrying mirror, which is basically nothing more than a mirror that has been painted black. Now there's a special compound that you use for the making the mirror black. I don't remember what it is, but you have to take the mirror and coat it with turpentine, and then what you do after that is coat the mirror with this black substance, and then you can use it in a similar fashion, like a crystal ball. I have only used the crystal ball a couple times, and really not for divination as much as with a crystal ball. If it's true crystal or quartz, you can actually hold it in your hands and feel the power emanating from it. That's not considered divination, but some people prefer to do that instead. I have this one and I keep it on my bookshelf, and honestly it's more of a bookend than anything, but I do bring it out every now and then, and I have people hold it and feel the power of it, the vibrations and everything. So a word of caution, I know I've stated this before when I did the tools. If you do get a crystal ball, make sure that when you're not using it, you keep it in a place where you can keep it covered, because if you have it in an area where sunlight comes through, well, that crystal ball is just like a gigantic magnifying glass, and you know what happens when sunlight comes through a magnifying glass? Fire, and that can be bad. Another method of divination is palmistry. People will read their hands or read other people's hands, and they can tell the future and past and present from them. Each line on your hand has a specific meaning. Now I am in by no means any expert at the hand or palmistry. I know there's like your heart line, your head line, your knowledge line, I think, and there's a couple more. Like I said, I'm not an expert in them, so I can't exactly rip them off. I'd actually have to look them up. Another method of divination that's really common, I think, in the Far East is tea leaves. a lot of times the fortune tellers would read tea leaves for people who, were looking to have their fortune told. I have never studied it. I know that it has to do with, taking the leaves that are on the bottom of the cup and gleaning the future out of that. Another method of divination that's much less uncommon now as it used to be is numerology. And that's the art of divining the future of past, present, whatever the case may be, by reading numbers. Now, I know that it's a form of divination. How it's actually done, I don't know. That would be something, if you wanted to research into, you could. It just never, interested me. I didn't have any, initiative to follow up or find more about it. The reason being is I hate math. And I know that a lot of people are good with numbers, but when it comes to that, I hate cat knocking something over. Another one that's really common is astrology, and that's the reading of the stars and using charts to tell and, find out the future and the past. I'm going to say excuse me for 1 second here. I have to go pick that little knick-knack up that one of the cats knocked over. I'll be right back. Okay, I apologize that we have a cat who's obsessed with my wife's decorations that she has on her china cabinet, and he constantly knocks them over and he thinks they're his toys. So where was I? Oh yeah, astrology. So astrology is reading the stars and the signs in a chart, using that information to, find the knowledge that you're looking for. One of the least common ways of doing divination, which I've never actually studied or looked into, is fire scrying. So someone would make a fire or just use a candle, and from that find knowledge using the flame of the fire or of the candle. Again, these are all methods that, if you have an interest in one, do your research on it if you haven't done so already. Get yourself a tarot card deck if you want to do that and become proficient with it. That was the one thing I didn't mention during the section with the tarot cards. A lot of people think that you actually have to have somebody gift you the tarot cards. That's simply not true. You do not have to have somebody gift you the tarot cards. You can go out and buy your own set if you wish. It's totally up to you. It's cool if somebody does, gift you a set of tarot cards, especially if you're not expecting it. That's a great gift. Hopefully you have somebody that gives you one. Now, the last one tool that I have in terms of divination, is a controversial one. And that tool is the Ouija board. Those can be very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. I'm not saying don't use it, but if you're gonna use it, take precautions. I would say if you're gonna go ahead and use it to basically cast a protective circle of some type, whether it's black salt, regular salt, pink salt, get that barrier up, because when it comes to with the Ouija, you're going to have no idea of what it is that's going to come through. It could be lying, it could be telling the truth, it could be a good guide, it could be a malicious guide. Just, be careful with the Ouija board. I had one experience with it that totally turned me off from them in the past. We had a bunch of people doing one, and this was really strange, and it actually had this this girl, I can't even describe it. She, eyes rolled in the back of her head and just, it gives me the chills whenever I think about it. So like I said, if you're going to do it, be careful. So those are the tools, and there are a few more for divination that I haven't gone over with. They're really more of the less common ones. What I would tell you to do here tonight for your homework is find one of these tools for divination that you have an interest in and research it. And then if you find there's one that really, you know, attracts you the most, if you can, buy one and then learn how to use it and become proficient with it. And you'll find that, you know, it's just going to add to your practice a little bit more. That being said, I hope everybody is doing well, staying safe, staying healthy. Signing off, Graybeard Crowfather. Blessed be, everybody.